Today I fucked up by thinking I invented a new insult. This wasn't today, or in the last 20 years. It was 26 small years ago when I was 5 years old. But my father was telling me stories today and reminded me of this. When I was younger, my parents were very strict about how me and my sister shouldn't use bad words, specifically insults. So I made it a game to invent new words that I could call my sister whilst avoiding getting spanked. I was banned from calling my sister an idiot, so I tried calling her a schmidiot, or a didiot, or a bidiot, but my parents caught on and stopped me. So I tried calling her a moron, but instead said bloran, or toran, or doran, but these didn't have a good enough impact and nobody noticed. I went off into my room and was playing around with words, and one of the books I had on my shelf was the twits, so I was messing around with that. Twit, crit, swit, twat, twat, and then invented a word that had a punch to it, twat. So I marched downstairs, into the family room. My sister asked me what I was smiling for, so I shouted nothing you twat. Next thing I knew my mother took off her shoe, threw it across the room and hit me straight in the face with it and I was grounded for a week. Turns out somebody invented it already. Too long didn't read, thought I was being smart by calling my sister a twat, turns out I wasn't. I like to call people juice bag. You know that age when you're thinking about sex a lot, even though you don't really know anything about it? About that age I remember thinking about the concept of 69, but had no idea it already had a name. So I came up with one, I called it Twisty Fun. I was a weird, horny kid. Can imagine you and a girl on heat and you be like, hey, wanna do the Twisty Fun, and it just turns the heat off completely. Hence, I like cruntsack, it is incredibly satisfying and even though it sounds like a curse word it's just gibberish. Woman shrugging. Billy Connolly had a list of these words that were safe around his kids: fup, fupping heck, bastard. I used to think shucks was the king of swear words because it was shit and fuck put together. I was always flummoxed when my sweet grandfather who never swore broke out this baddie. This reminds me, since I'm American, I'm not familiar with British slang and I saw a meme that was like Happy Treason Day, you filthy twats on the 4th of July, and I told my family about it during lunch and they all looked at me funny. I figured it meant something like idiot or jerk in a joking way, but nope. Learned the hard way that it's slang for vagina and is the equivalent of calling someone a dick. It's definitely both depending on delivery. Today I fucked up by paying a vet $667.39 to tell me my dog had to take a shit. We have a border collie puppy. Good dog. My wife fed him breakfast and he threw up a little while later. She felt bad so she made him some human food to settle his stomach. He ate all of that and then threw that up. So then she made him some special human food for his stomach and the vomiting. He puked all of that up. She is very concerned so I take him to the vet. I wait an hour and 45 minutes to get seen. The vet is sure that he ate a toy or something and has a blockage. Vet gives the dog an 4 so he is not dehydrated and has nutrients. Then they take the dog for an x-ray. X-ray comes back. Dog's colon is huge. No blockage. He is literally just full of shit. Apparently he was puking because there was no more room in his stomach to hold food. Vet was wrong about the blockage. Didn't need the 4th either. Dog is fine. Too long didn't read. Today I fucked up by paying a vet $667.39 to find out my dog and my vet are both full of shit. You didn't fuck up. You had no idea what was wrong with your sick dog and so you took it to a trained professional to be sure it would be okay. The vet didn't fuck up. The vet reasonably guessed the dog was blocked up by a foreign object and then did a test to confirm or deny the guess, and the test confirmed the blockage and denied the foreign object. The 4th-based hydration is good for any colon blockage. You're pissed you spent so much money. I get it. I've spent thousands on my pets and sometimes for tests that felt 100% unnecessary. But no one fucked up here. I once went to the vet to be told my dog's fine, he just really likes licking his butthole. They laughed, but didn't charge me, which was very sweet of them. Several months ago I picked up a sad little kitten that had been wandering in the parking lot at my job. Several days go by and the kitten doesn't seem to be very active and gums seem pale. $288 later. Kitten needed to be dewormed. Very simple. Think I could have gotten the medicine at a Tractor Supply. That cat cost me so much I decided it was an investment and kept it. His name is Oreo and thinks he's super boss man around here. Rule number 1 with a kitten of unknown origin. Deworming is a must. I realize that you may have learned this lesson for $667.39. But if your puppy pukes, don't feed him for a couple of hours and see if he pukes again. If he's not in distress, drinking water, and peeing normally, you can usually give it an hour or two before you panic. As long as he's not in pain or discomfort and staying hydrated, you should be okay phoning the vet and asking if you should bring him in instead of rushing him to the vet immediately. Our first instinct is to treat them to something nice as well, but the best thing for a delicate puppy tummy is white rice boiled with just enough skinned chicken breast to flavor the rice. I say all of this with the confidence of someone who was convinced her dog had swallowed a piece of a ball. I had to give her stool softeners 3 times a day, feed her a little rice and chicken every hour or two, and follow her around to inspect her poops for 3 days. She never swallowed a piece of ball, but the poop inspection and vet spill were lovely. My dog swallowed one of those small rubber bouncy balls you get for a quarter or if a machine. It was my fault for playing with him with such a small object. Anyway, take him to the vet and he tells me he'll probably pass it, but in the same breath tells me a story of another dog that swallowed something and the owner opted to let nature take its course and the dog passed away. So he scared me into paying $3,600 for surgery. Would he have shit it out? Would he have died? Who knows? The moral of the story is it could have been worse and I own a $3,600.25 bouncy ball. My best friend's dog played mind games with her with a bouncy ball like that. Somehow her dog got a hold of one. She assumes her niece left one or the dog found it in the yard. She isn't sure how he got it. But every once in a while through the day, he'd walk into another room and she'd hear that bouncy noise on her hardwood floors as he dropped it from his mouth. By the time she walked in the room to figure out what made the noise, the ball would roll into a corner or near a wall or under something. The ball was small enough that she never saw him pick it up in his mouth. She swore she must be hearing things. She mentioned it to me when I came over one day. Her dog walked away from her into the kitchen where I was and dropped the ball. I grabbed it and laughed my ass off. Apparently her dog had been doing this to her for months. He never swallowed it and somehow managed to store it somewhere she never found it when cleaning. We have had dogs come in with a GI blockage, but we couldn't perform emergency surgery that minute. After a couple hours on 4 fluids, sometimes their system will start working again and whatever is holding things up will start to move along. They still need to be monitored, but occasionally we have been able to avoid surgery. This is certainly not the norm, though. Your vet did exactly the right thing, and you paid them significantly less than you would have if this situation had happened in human medicine with no insurance. Also, your dog most likely did need the 4th, as overeating can directly lead to dehydration. Please don't brag about your vet being wrong. They weren't wrong, diagnostics were required, and performed. Veterinarians don't have a crystal ball, and our dogs cannot tell them where it hurts. Plus they just kept feeding the sick dog over and over again and so it just vomited and vomited. Dogs don't normally have massive colons, right? This doesn't even sound like nothing. Today I fucked up by giving my wife a real answer. This actually just happened and my wife is upset with me. My wife has this teddy bear that she like a lot. She's had him for 20 years and even I think it's cute. If our house were on fire, other than children, this teddy bear would be the first thing she'd rescue. I try to understand and to a certain degree I do actually like that teddy bear too. She would sometimes bring him to me and hug me with him. To many people this would sound weird but I got used to it and I find this adorable. Well, This morning we are still in bed and she is hugging the bear as we don't have him around much lately. My older son adopted the bear and sleeps with him now. All of a sudden, she turns around to face me hugging the bear and asks me, "Do you think he, the bear, is happy with us?" I'm still sort of not fully awake and kinds of pissy. I said no. "Why?" she asks, not believing her ears. "Because he doesn't have brain," I responded. Now, she is not talking to me. I fucked up. Too long didn't read. My wife asked me if her favorite teddy bear is happy with us. I said no because teddy bears don't have brains to feel anything. Edit, just to follow up. She's cool. I told her I posted it and she laughed about some of the responses. She knows she is a little too attached to that bear. She lets the kid have it most of the time and she only occasionally holds it, so when she does she goes a little overboard. This is the first thing we bought together back when we were still dating. I know, I'm old. Now I feel like today I fucked up by posting this and making her look like a psycho. Ha ha ha. Oops. Edit 2, the bear. It is 20 years old, so it has a costume as my 7-year son sleeps with him and we want to preserve the bear for as long as possible. I have a medication I take for migraines that makes me less than lucid. One time I started crying because I was afraid my husband had forgotten I'm a pretty princess. I didn't want to ask him because he was working, so I just sat around being sad for an hour until he was off so I could make sure he remembered. ETA, husband did remember, so all was good. I think it's sweet that you indulge your wife this teddy bear. Good luck with the recovery from this one. Hopefully she realizes she's being a little silly and you were grumpy about something else. Thank you. I've added a follow-up edit to the post. Some people in the comments section are kind of mean, like I was with my initial response. Damn, now that I think of it, it was mean of me to post it. But in all fairness, I sometimes enjoy her little obsession with that bear. Is this how the script to Ted was thought of? I think really she was asking, do you think we have a happy home? A happy home even a teddy bear would enjoy being in. Just my thoughts. Yeah, I agree with this. Sounds like perhaps she wanted confirmation that Op is still having a good time with her. I can relate to your wife lol. I'm a married 27-year-old guy with a 3-month-old son too. I still have my teddy bear, Bigfoot is his name, on our bed. He stays at the foot of the bed but I sometimes use him as a pillow for nostalgic reasons as I've had him for 25 years now. Still the most important thing I own for sure. No way would I let my son have him though.